When you see your flag, what does it mean to you?
Yeah, it's a sense of pride. It's definitely, I think, very iconic with our horses, and knowing that when you see that kind of red square, that's the Umatilla Tribes. Our flag is pretty iconic.
History is important. Our visitors need to recognize that our land base used to be 6.4 million acres. Our seasonal round encompassed a yearly migrational trail following the roots, the berries, the fish, the game. So that 6.4 million acres was the ability to roam. That land base was negotiated in that Treaty of 1855. Although our reservation, the place where we located, was a very small area, less than 500,000 acres, our seasonal round, our livelihood, everything that makes us Nikiawe, Pama, people from Nikiawe, is that seasonal round. So again, our tribes have conceded quite a bit of land base. We negotiated on behalf of the immigrants as well as our people 167 years ago for a safe place to live. We are still protecting that safe place to live. We are still protecting the people. We share the same responsibilities that any city or any county or state has for its members.
The imagery on the current tribal flag of the Umatilla Reservation, which represents 3 tribes, that's the Umatilla, the Cayuse, and the Walla Walla, having been formed into a confederacy by the Treaty of 1855, you'll notice that the 3 horses that are within the seal represents each of the tribes because of the horse wealth that our forefathers had accrued in the 1800s. So the prevalence of horses within our cultural history has been a big component of who we are. So horses were very prominent within all 3 tribes, the Umatillas, the Walla Wallas, and Cayuses. As a matter of fact, one of the terms that there's coined for a wild horse is a cayuse. And when they talk about cayuses in the cowboy vernacular, they refer to a wild horse as a cayuse. That's a reminder of how prevalent horses were within our historical economy and cultural way. So next time you look upon wild horses on the range and refer to them as cayuses, well, this is where that term had begun. The current flag that now represents the Confederated Umatilla Tribes was drafted and adopted in the early 2000s as a result of a tribal vote. It was accepted and dedicated in May of 2002.
And there are several artists who, in fact, through the research that I did as General Council Chairman, that there are several artists and several pieces throughout the years that were ultimately added into the final design of the tribal flag. So it's important to acknowledge all of the artists, several artists who had hands in designing our flag.
The graphic of the flag on a red background serves to represent, in our cultural way, the blood that flows through our body and represents the heart of creation. And with the strip that is beneath the horse emblem is a representative and symbolic of the plateau intermontane beadwork style, which was adopted by our tribes in the early 1800s, that style of designing. And then the three components that make up the symbols on the strip beneath the horse emblem represents, once again, the Umatilla, the Walla Walla, and Cayuse tribes.
So when I served in the military, there was only the American flag. There was not the tribal flag that came after I was discharged. Today's veterans, especially those tribal members from our tribe who enlisted into the military, are now fighting very clearly for two flags. One, the United States of American flag, and as well as the C2IR tribal flag. Our tribal flag, we hosted the Air National Guard unit several years ago, and we provided them a flag at this ceremony before they were to deploy, and that flag went over to Iraq, to Tent City. Our tribal flag was used, it was hoisted there above their command so that when the troops returned from their field, they would easily be able to recognize where, quote, home was. That tribal flag also protected those troops. There was not a loss of troop in that battalion. They all returned home, and we welcomed them home with a ceremony as well. So this tribal flag has also been carried into the field of battle since it was designed by our local Air National Guard unit. And again, we want to, and of course that is comprised of tribal members as well as non-tribal members. But again, we feel that our flag now has been battle tested, it has returned, it has protected those soldiers under its watch, and again, we are very proud of that distinction. My hope for future generations of tribal members is that they look at the tribal flag with pride, with honor, respect, and responsibility. The treaty was signed 167 years ago in 1855. And since then, we've been fighting for our sovereignty, for self-determination and self-sufficiency. So the flag that you see today should represent all of those things to future tribal members.
If there was one message that I would like to impart into our future generations, young children, and even the people within our everyday work, is Chanaman Yanwata. Chanaman Yanwata. Never, ever give up. Never become defeated. Always be full of strength, be full of truthfulness, and be full of tenacity. And then we would go into a future in a stronger way.